The birthday of a guru is not an ordinary occurrence. Why is the birthday of a guru so important? This one human being can help and transform thousands, if not millions of human beings.
When you apply Anvikshiki and hermeneutics, then you can see how you can resolve even biggest contradictions of life which otherwise will appear as if they are unresolvable.
I also want to say this book is not written by me, I'll tell you that. I mean, it was just written, let me put it that way. It came to me, you might say I'm a channel or whatever, but its purpose is to heal the nation.
If you are talking about nation or Rashtra, any conglomerate, that means power is a necessity. You must be powerful.
In our tradition, we make our first offering to the Guru. It's happening, as we say, Guruji ke kar kamalon ke dwara iska lokarpan ho raha hai. I am very happy that the first comment here on this book is by Guruji himself. Bharat's soul incessantly stays in dialogue with itself. Atma Samvaad.
You will have to become powerful in terms of technology, in terms of defense, economy, everything. Plus you have this spirituality which you take care of the whole world. In our tradition, the power chooses the characterful.
What draws us to Guruji is because we all seek that bliss, we all seek that limitless expansion of ourselves.
So we are fortunate again that author himself is present here with his book, and he is very humble person, as you have seen, despite having so much behind him, so much work. We can understand what the kind of narrative he holds. With that narrative staying in JNU for 25 years. And these are 25 years back, not present 25 years, the kind of period we are saying. And now in USA also he is of course going with the same narrative only. Since I am one of those first readers who read the book when it was in its digital format, because got printed later and now only it has come into the book form. So I am telling, as a reader, when you apply Anvikshiki and hermeneutics, then you can see how you can resolve even biggest contradictions of life which otherwise will appear as if they are unresolvable. But when you apply that lens, you say, no, they are part of the same. They are one only. People are seeing them differently. And that is where it brings back to our philosophy, Advaita and everything else. So I would prefer that now you listen directly, as they say in English, from the horse's mouth. But vice professor is there, and I request him to tell something about the book and the narrative. It will be good. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Guruji, and thank you all for coming here today. It's a very, very special day. The birthday of a guru is not an ordinary occurrence. And we've all gathered here to pay respects. We've come here not to honor just an individual, Guruji Nandkishore Acharya, but the entire institution of the Guru Shishya Parampara. And one of the things that Guruji tells us is that Sanatan Dharma has lasted because of this Guru Shishya Parampara. So today is a great day for all of us because we are honoring not just an individual, but that institution of the Guru Shishya Parampara. But I just want to say one more word. I don't want to speak too much in front of Guruji, but the point is that why is the birthday of a guru so important? Because one so-called one human being, in fact we are all one, as Guruji always tells us. So this one human being can help and transformed thousands, if not millions of human beings. So the birth of a guru is a very special occasion. I don't want to keep talking about this in front of the guru himself. So we're all fortunate to be connected with him. And another thing I wanted to say today that Guruji teaches us is that only a shishya can be a guru. So a shishya is greater than a guru because only a shishya knows, truly speaking, that he's nothing. And none of us here is a shishya except Guruji and Guru Ma. So can you imagine, to be a guru is the most difficult thing in the world. It's a thankless job. And, and yet some people have to perform this job. And so we're very grateful to you, Guruji and Guru Ma, for taking on the burden of this most difficult and challenging role, because we are all playing a role. We are all playing a role today. Even those of you who feel that you're here to get something you don't have, you're also playing a role, okay? Because you already have everything you're looking for, but maybe you don't know it. But what draws us to Guruji is because we all seek that bliss. We all seek that limitless expansion of ourselves, which we already know we are, but somehow we forget it. And Guruji and Guru Ma, they've given their whole life for this. So we have utmost gratitude to you, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to say a few words about my book because it's Guruji's command, but I also want to say this book is not written by me, I'll tell you that. I mean, it was just written, let me put it that way. It came to me, you might say I'm a channel or whatever, but its purpose is to heal the nation. So it's a very lofty purpose. I call it rebalancing the nation's prana. So what do I mean by that? I mean that the aim of the book is to heal the wounds of the past, because we are a great civilization, but we only see the rubble of this civilization. We see its ruins, so to speak, And we are standing on the ruins of this great civilization, and we are, as Guruji said at the beginning, the whole world is in a crisis. In fact, the whole world is in flames, as Buddha once said, right? So let us be the healers, and we can only be the healers if we heal ourselves, So a humble attempt to do that is what this book is about. So the divisions within Hindu society, forget about between, say, Hindus or Sanatanis and non-Sanatanis, or let me call them anti-Sanatanis, because Sanatanis don't have problems with non-Sanatanis, because we like to coexist.
Yes.
But when they become anti-Sanatani, they don't even want us to, breathe. Then what do we do? So the book addresses some of these issues, and I'm very happy that the first comment here on this book is by Guruji himself. So let me read that with your permission.
Please.
So Guruji said, Bharat's soul incessantly stays in dialogue with itself. Isn't that a beautiful sentence? Bharat's soul incessantly stays in dialogue with itself. So this is a civilization in dialogue with itself. And we are all in dialogue with ourselves, isn't it? As soon as you get up in the morning, you're thinking, okay, what do I do today? What should I do? Oh, someone wants me to do this, but I don't want to do that. So we are in constant dialogue with ourselves. And why? Because we are searching for something, isn't it? Beyond ourselves. Anyhow, Bharat's soul incessantly stays in dialogue with itself. Atma Samvaad. This is, I've said somewhere in my writings that we are a self-centered civilization. It sounds bad, but we are not God-centered. The Abrahamics were God-centered or man-centered, because after Renaissance, Europe became man-centered or some other centered, woman-centered, if you're in an advertising world. Because without a woman, you can't sell any product in the world. Because it's Prakriti. Prakriti. Don't misunderstand me. I'm a feminist myself. With the greatest respect, I'm saying. Man-centric, woman-centric, something else, history-centric, social conflict-centric. No. We are self-centric because Atma Samvaad. We are trying to figure out who we are, okay? While becoming a conduit. Guruji knows, I didn't write the book. See, he said it. while becoming a conduit for this Atma Samvaad through his book, Paranjape takes Gandhi's Hind Swaraj and Savarkar's Hindutva as two prompts that he tosses in his oceanic mind. No, I am tossing in that oceanic mind. My mind is not oceanic, but I'm tossing in that mind, that cosmic mind, finding them mostly complementary. A must-read book. Why most? Because you see, Hinduism and Swaraj has room for both Savarkar and Gandhiji. Even if, at a personal or ideological level there are differences. Because why is Swaraj important? Because Swaraj teaches us to resist power when we are weak and not be afraid of power, because the British were so powerful. They crushed us completely, and we were, our average life expectancy was 27 years when the British left us. The whole race had got impoverished, and we had so many famines under the British. 50 million Indians died in the 150 years of British rule. After independence, we've had malnutrition, yes. Even some starvation, yes. But not the kind of famine which wiped out millions and millions. So we are so fortunate to be independent. And we are independent because of this idea of Swaraj. And Swaraj means you have the power to resist a superior power. Like the goddess Katyayani, okay? She got a weapon from all the gods to kill the Asura. So this is a very auspicious time for us. It's a battle between good and evil. We must take sides in this battle. And the other side of Swaraj is when we are very powerful, we show restraint. Guruji says the family is the ideal. So if the wife is very powerful, very rich, whatever, comes from a wealthy family, she can show restraint. If the husband is very powerful, has a great job, is a CEO, the husband can show restraint. The father can show restraint. Swaraj teaches us to show restraint when we are powerful and not be afraid when we are weaker and powerless, right? And what can I say? In our tradition, we make our first offering to the Guru. So I'm very fortunate. There's been no public event. There's been no release of this book. There's no launch, but it's happening. As we say, Guruji के कर कमलों के द्वारा इसका लोकार्पण हो रहा है. तो मेरे लिए आज एक ये बहुत सौभाग्य का दिन है. तो मैं तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ.
Thank you so much, Guruji and Makarandji. We have time for 2 or 3 questions to Makarandji and Guruji on this book. So if any of you are interested, please feel free to ask your questions.
Namaste, Guruji. Namaskar, Makarandji. This is Rajesh Chinchawad.
Yeah.
And my question is, I have not gone through the book yet, but when I see the headline, the name of the book, I perceive or I imagine there are many frameworks where we as a nation can emerge as the Guru of the world, right? Vishwaguru. But कुछ framework या कुछ there might be there. I have not read it. It's not launched also. But at the same time, the world is on fire, and we need to transform individually. We need to transform as a state, as a country. So that journey is there. At the same time, the world is also transforming. So how do we play that role while we are transforming? How do we emerge as a Vishwaguru and try to help to transform the world also? So does this book talk about it?
See, Rajesh ji, as we know, that anything begins from individuals. So when we say if as a family, we have become characterful people, because there is difference. First of all, first principle is that if you are talking about a nation or Rashtra, any conglomerate, that means power is a necessity. You must be powerful. There is no alternative to that. As a Rashtra, in your defense technology, you should be supreme most in the world. Before that, you don't have in that sense rights to even speak. So but then comes the second. Suppose you have power, but will you be in a position to handle that power? That is where we come the first. Still we have always been, we will always be. But please do not confuse between the two. Like for an example, in our tradition we hear stories. Thus Bhagirath did tapasya for Ganga to come down. But he didn't have capacity to handle Ganga, what he has asked for. Then a Mahadev is needed. That who will take this into one's stride and give as much as Ganga is needed. So these both needs to be very clear. So we say in our tradition, the power chooses the characterful. Western traditions, they say power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. We say no. Power chooses only the sacred most, only the characterful, there only it finds place. If you see all spiritual, any sloka you put, how they say utsaha sampannam adirghadu shrutram kriya vidhigyam vishnesva saktam suram kritagyam dradchau hridans lakshmi swayam yati nivashayeto. If you have all these qualities, then Lakshmi will come on its own, because she will choose than you. So this is our tradition. So knowledge we must hold, but we should never stay in that fool's paradise that we are going to be the world guru. No, I always have been critical of this saying. You first become a good disciple, that's all. You should become capable in every sense, because people will not take you for granted. You have to exhibit that through your character. He is teacher, for whole life he has been teaching. There is a difference between guru and teacher. Otherwise, why would he get initiated? So there is virtue. Why would you and your wife get initiated? So there is virtue in that we are saying. That our tradition, if you are saying we have to become world guru or Vishwaguru, it will not happen by articulating and telling. It will happen by become in our family everyone see follower of that or carrier of that, upholder of that. So that is where we will be in a position to uphold our family, our country, nation, Rashtra, everything. Because our tradition is like that. Everywhere if we are defining Rashtra, Valmiki, which we read so much Ramayana, what he is saying? Nahi tad bhavita rastram yatra ramo na bhupati tad vanam hi bhavita rastram yatra ramo nevatsyasi. When Rama is in jungle, Vasishtha is telling this to the whole family, specifically to the KK, that where Ram is moving, that he will make a Rashtra there in the jungle, because he is going there. And here in your Ayodhya, since he is not the king, it will become a jungle kind of a place. So that is telling about our character, and we are saying what we know Ram for his character. So when a professor is saying that thing, that what are you in a position through his book, are you in position to take the wisdom which has been there and you end up becoming more wise, not just following some words or carrying some that they have decided that this is the conclusion. No, you become so much wise that you begin to take your own decisions. So only this goes first, Shakti ki sadhana to karni hi padegi. You will have to become powerful in terms of technology, in terms of defense, economy, everything. Plus you have this spirituality which you take care of the whole world. Thought-wise you have always been leader. But has world followed you? You have been attacked, you have been subjugated despite where was your knowledge? This was the first question asked to me. You are talking one of us among initiates. She asked me this question. Why, if we were so powerful, how we got subjugated? Then I had to do or come out with the clear answer. This is the reason. So, if the knowledge and this Vishwaguru thing was everything, we would have been there. Why we are not there? Because we did not follow the other step. We have to keep both the beings together. Become powerful in every sense, materially, and then stay powerful spiritually. Yes. I think Professor Sir would like to add something.
Yeah, I can just add just a couple of sentences. So, Ram Ki Shakti Sadhana, it's a great poem by Ramdhari Singh Nirala, who was also a Rashtra Kavi. So, even an avatar has to do the Shakti Sadhana, Shakti Pujan. And again, Katyayani, she's a goddess, but every god gives her a weapon. So today somebody was asking me about this book, and as I said, that no God won over any asura, as far as I know, only through ahimsa. So even Gandhiji was wrong, and he admitted it, by the way. So you can't just stand there and do ahimsa and win. You need something. Even Vashisht, when the cows were stolen, he did something very drastic, as the myths tell us. So this Shakti sadhana is very important for Bharat. And in fact, in Bhavani Mandir in 1905, Sri Aurobindo said that Bhavani Mandir means that like every home has to become a Gurukul. Sri Aurobindo thought that you have to have so many Bhavani Mandirs to raise the consciousness of the nation before you can become, a world leader, as you said. And leader is not a guru. Guru is something much different. So I just want to end by saying, look, I'm limited. I feel very limited. Right? That's why I come to the Guru. And when we say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, etc., it refers to the Guru Tattva. So I am limited, but when I get connected through the Guru, I become unlimited. So why is Bharat the Vishwaguru? Because every nation is limited. That's why they want to attack some other nation, conquer it, through trade, through AI. पता नहीं क्या क्या तरीके हैं to control, वश में लाने के लिए, to control, dominate. So that limitation, when they join Bharat, then they also feel unlimited. So in this book, I've talked about the horizontal and the vertical. So horizontal goes towards infinity. Evolution is limitless. It just goes on and on. But in India, we want to go to the absolute, vertically. So either you're going towards Shunya or you're going towards Purna. So people want India because it helps them either dissolve themselves or get that fulfillment, that Purnata. But at a practical level, Guruji said, Hamare se shuruaat karein, let's start with ourselves. Let's not worry about how we can prove to the world we are Vishwagurus. That is ridiculous. Like you go everywhere and you say, I am the Guru, I am the Guru. That won't work. First, we have to manifest that. Am I right, Guruji?
Yes, absolutely.
Namaste, Guruji. Namaste, Paranjape. My question is, I have read both Gandhiji separately, his books in separate ways, and also have read Damodar. And here you have merged both of them in one way. Whether what influences me to read it, you just give me a few points that which influences me to read it, and have you thrown light on the reality or only the history or any thoughts?
Okay, thank you. So it's a very good question. If you see this cover, it's very interesting. So, I didn't design it, somebody did it, and I really liked it. They 3-4 sample bheje the, aise dispe jao. So you know what is happening here? They are looking in two different ways. Yes? And yet they are joined somewhere. They are joined at the hip, so to speak. So history's forgotten doubles, and you'll see this hand. It's almost like, see, they are merging also. They are diverging and merging. Okay? So what I wanted to say to answer your question, Gandhiji and Veer Savarkar, they met in 1909 in London on Vijayadashmi. We are going through that Navratra Parva now. And they both gave a talk at India House, which was run by a gentleman called Shyamji Krishna Varma, to create revolutionaries who would overthrow British rule through violent means. Today we call some of them terrorists and all, but I don't call them terrorists. They were revolutionaries. Okay? So Gandhiji spoke. I think who spoke first I can't recall, but both spoke. And they said opposite things. So Savarkar said we have to throw out the British through an armed rebellion. And he said no oppressor has ever been thrown out peacefully. Gandhiji spoke afterwards and he says, I'm not sure this method will work. And he was so stimulated or worried or itne chintit ho gaye, so exercised by that debate. It would seem that when he was returning to South Africa, he was in South Africa at that time, he was a barrister on a ship. The ship's name was SSK. Kildonan Castle, ship ka naam tha. And in 19 days, he wrote a book called Hind Swaraj. You know, and when his right hand got tired, he wrote with his left hand. And then he wrote to a friend called Kallenbach. His name was Kallenbach. He said, I think I have written an original book. Because on the ship, he got some big insight. And his big insight is that India cannot or should not win freedom through violence. We have to show the world a superior power. So he wrote his book, and in his book he talks about satyagraha. He talks about how to resist power by developing your own power through brahmacharya, you know. So he's talked about all that in his book. The same year, in 1909, Veer Savarkar wrote another book. It's called The Indian War of Independence. And there he went into the so-called mutiny, the Great Revolt of 1857. And he actually didn't write a history. We're talking about a history, though he talked about whatever happened, and the sources were mostly British. But he wrote a story of all the heroes of 1857. Who are the heroes? Rani Lakshmi Bai, we know her very well. But he talked about many other heroes, Tatya Tope, you know, Nana Sahib Peshwa. But people we have forgotten, Hindus and Muslims. He talked about all of them. And he said, वो जज्बा जो था, स्वराज्य का जो जज्बा था, कि to throw out these people. He says, this is who we are. We don't like to be enslaved by anybody. So my point is, these are two divergent views of how to overcome imperialism or superior power. And then later, when Savarkar was in jail in Andamans, you know, Kalapani, he wrote some mercy petitions. He wrote to the British saying, release me. I promise not to do any agitation. So at that time, Gandhiji wrote to the British, both the brothers have suffered a lot. Baba Rao, his elder brother, please release them. So this is the history. Those two brothers, they didn't like Gandhiji, by the way. You know, they thought that he was a madcap. In fact, Savarkar wrote a book. He said, Gandhiji and his madness. In Marathi, he wrote the book. He said, ye aadmi pagla gaya hai. What is he saying? It will only make the Hindus weak. So I have brought out all that. There is no attempt to cheat, okay? And I don't take sides. This is the thing. I don't say I'm a Savarkarite, I'm a Gandhian, which means both sides will have trouble with me. Guruji was telling me already that please be warned. Dono sides se aapki pitai hogi, if you understand Hindi. Yallaru nimge oditare. That is what he said. But you have to tell the truth, you know. And the most important thing, what I want to say is, none of us has to take a side. You don't have to take sides. Some things that Gandhiji did were right. Some things he did were wrong. Some things that Savarkarji did were right. And some things he did were probably wrong. So that is anvikshiki. Vishleshan karke, we have to look at these figures in their context and come to our own conclusions. And nobody should tell you you're wrong because you're a Savarkarite or because the Congress was saying that all the time. And now the other side is saying, or some people are saying, that if you're a Gandhian, then you're a Deshdrohi or whatever. So I don't like the polarization. That's the whole point of the book. Polarization, Dhruvikaran or this, every family has polarization. So this book is about finding a way to continue a conversation. So Guruji says, Bharat ek nirantar Atma Samvaad mein hai. So every family has a nirantar Atma Samvaad. That we celebrate and something beautiful comes out of that. When I don't want to dominate you, you don't want to dominate me. In fact, what Guruji says is, first tell me, did I understand your question? I'm repeating the question. That's what he says. His methodology, I'm talking about his methodology. Guruji's hermeneutics. He says, Acha, you have asked this question. Now I will repeat your question. Tell me if I have understood your question. Then he says, okay, this is the answer. Now you tell me, have you understood the answer? This is the Atma Samvaad of Bharat.
Good. Nothing needs to be added, I think. Only thing is, for what you are having the question, you are trying to widen the horizon. Whether you are the reader or your children are a reader or friends or family, whosoever. You are trying to widen their horizons, give so many contradictory things you can take in your stride, still come out with the proper present solution for what problem you are going. because that too has happened. War of independence, that time what they fought, now we are fighting for different battle, and our children will be fighting different battle. So their wisdom you have to invigorate. That through reading your history, like he is saying very clearly, he pumped up by bringing out the characters from history that was needed. If Savarkar would not have done that, then who would have done? He did that. So that Hanuman syndrome, as we say, we forget our own power. So that way, to resolve that, reading is good. Thank you.
Guruji, one question that comes to our mind today, whatever history we learned in probably our childhood and what people are reading in today's generation, what they are reading today. It is getting contradicted. Daily we see in social media a lot of things are being asked. They are even contradicting what Gandhi actually said. A lot of philosophies we had in our mind was supposedly true when we were studying then, is now being proven wrong. And we are now under a dilemma. Whose history to believe? Is it today's things that are getting revealed? Certain papers are produced in parliament. They are saying that this was not said, this is the right thing, but the perspective given in your history books is absolutely colored. So now so many books and publications keep coming. If I read today's book, will I believe today's book as the true history, or will I relate to what was taught to me in my childhood? So if we are in this dilemma itself, how will I learn from the history? Which history to believe is, the true history? So that authenticity is not coming because we have not lived that past. You are reading somebody's written, thing in the book. So one who has written something, we are trusting that particular article is the truth. But somebody, if you get somebody else's version, then again that question comes back to the original starting point. So if this is proved wrong, then is this correct?
Okay.
So actually, it's a very good question, and I invite you to read the book. The book is in 3 parts, and the first part is called Itihas Mimamsa. And one of the points I'm making is facts are not history. In fact, Itihas we say is the way it happened. But we don't know what happened, because without a context, without a narrative, you can't understand even facts. Facts simply strung together are like pixels on a television or on a digital screen. They're just dots. So unless your mind creates a shape, you don't know what it is. So the point I'm trying to make is that with Savarkar, he used 1857, and there are 2 opposing views on 1857. The British say it's a mutiny. So Savarkar said it's a heroic battle for independence. So you see, who is right? So if you're a Britisher and you're looking at it from the point of view of trying to control and suppress India, look, we conquered this country, now they rose up in rebellion and we crushed the rebellion. So history is not facts alone, history is perspective. So, somebody was ruling India, they changed, 65 years you had some party ruling, now you have some other party. So obviously their perspective is different. You understand what I'm trying to say? So when you say this is proven wrong, it's not proven. That is another opinion. We don't know. See, you have to reconstruct history according to how you understand. You can look at all the available data and come to your own conclusion. How to do that is what this book is showing. I'm not interested in pushing a particular narrative, but I completely agree that the Indian history has been whitewashed, airbrushed. What really happened, the trauma that this country went through has not been accepted because of a politics of appeasement. Now, if you don't want appeasement, what will you do? Do you want revenge? We don't want revenge either, because somebody did something 700 years ago, they destroyed this temple, they killed so many people. Do you want to kill somebody else? What's the point? So I'm not for a revenge history either. Through deep understanding alone, you can move forward. But today, that's why I'm saying social media is so dangerous and so damaging. It's weaponized misinformation. So as soon as you get up in the morning, they are stuffing your brain with all this nonsense, and you start hating people. You don't even know them. You haven't been to their house and you begin to say, "Acha, this is my enemy, this one's my friend." So it's propaganda. Now, what I'm trying to say in this book is politicians have to do what politicians do. Maybe they need votes, they need to have vote banks. You also have to vote, you decide who's good. I'm not a politician, I'm an intellectual. Okay, I'm doing my dharma. And my dharma is to help people find the truth for themselves. I'm not a propagandist, I don't want anything from you. Okay, of course, if you buy your book, I might be benefited. But it's also very minor. My benefit, my livelihood doesn't depend on the copies sold. Hardly any copies get sold, Frankly, I'll tell you. So, to conclude, to answer your question, Itihas Mimamsa means a reflection on what happened in the past. And we are constantly in the process of interrogating the past and examining the past so that we understand the present and determine the future course of action. Okay? And nobody can tell you this is what happened or this is not what happened. The textbooks are full of lies. NCRT textbooks have been shown to be full of lies. Now that doesn't mean that the revised textbooks are full of truth. No. So, you have to figure it out. Like today, somebody said to me, "Oh, the entire Muslim period in India was like a light bulb flashing." Okay, if that is the case, why are you fighting over Ayodhya or Kashi or Mathura? If it was so insignificant, then you should have said, "We don't care." So when it's convenient, you'll say, "Oh, we have to change everything." Otherwise, it said nothing happened. Similarly, British, they say, "Oh, British ruled India only 150 years. We are a 5,000-year-old civilization." Arey boss, you still haven't recovered. Aap kya baat kar rahe ho? So therefore, you have to be a little, I don't want to use suspicious,
Yes.
but a little cautious, make up your own mind. Okay, come to your own conclusions. Don't trust anybody else's truth. Like Guruji says, unless you experience it, what's the point? See, Guruji is enlightened. Are you enlightened? Then what's the point? You have to get enlightened. So, see, that's the whole point. I ate the pudding. I'm satisfied. You didn't get anything. I can't keep telling you the pudding was great. Na? You'll have to tell me when I eat the pudding, I'll believe it. So the history is also a little pudding, or an ice cream or a gulab jamun. वो भी आपको टेस्ट करके, चख के, खा के, समझ के, उसको पचा के आगे बढ़ना है. I just want to say one thing, if you don't mind. What's a beautiful thing about this Sahaj Smriti Yoga is Guruji welcomes questions. All the satsangs are questions only. This is extraordinary. Please think how lucky you are. You can ask any question. Isn't that great? So, this is a great opportunity. Not today, but I'm just saying, Sunday satsang kal hoga. You have a chance to ask a question because usually there's no chance to ask a question. So Raghavanji will tell you that for years he was waiting to ask a very famous guru a question. For years, 12 years he waited, like a vanvas. So to ask a question takes so long, you can't even get to that. Then you write it on a chit. The chits go into some big box, pata nahi kahan. So here, tomorrow itself you can ask a question. So I'm saying we are all very grateful that we are in the presence of a living master to whom you can ask any question.